Hey guys, welcome back to Penny and the Pea. This is going to be our second installment of our baby planning checklist, and this is going to be for our second trimester, which is weeks 14 to 26. The second trimester is really when you're going to start feeling hopefully a little bit more energy, and you'll get to do some more of these things, check them off your list. One of them is to announce your pregnancy. So by the time you're 14 weeks, you may feel more comfortable to announce the pregnancy. There are so many different ways to do it. We ended up taking a picture with a onesie, and we kind of sent it to family and friends first, and then we put it on Facebook a couple weeks later. But there's tons of ways. Just look on Pinterest. You can really start exercising now, or if you haven't been already. I was not able to exercise the first 3 months of my pregnancy because I was so sick, but I did start doing a lot of 40-minute walks outside my neighborhood, and there are a lot of prenatal exercise programs that you can do. Most exercise programs now are really great about sort of modifying what they do for pregnant women. I know that my husband loves Orange Theory, and all the trainers there just are so wonderful with pregnant women, and we see pregnant women in there all the time, and they're like 8 months pregnant, and they're doing, their treadmill, and they're still lifting small weights. So I think there's a lot of options for you. Just do a little research and see kind of what works for you. You can begin tracking your weight if you want to. I don't think many people gain a lot of weight in their first trimester, maybe 1 or 2 pounds. Your doctor will definitely be keeping track of your weight, so if you don't want to do that, you don't need to. Interview doulas or labor coaches. So this is a really good one. You are going to have your OB or your midwife deliver your baby, but there are other people who can help you and advocate for you. And I will be doing a video session on childbirth and kind of what I'm going to be doing. What is the difference between a doula and a midwife and an OB? So we'll definitely go over that later. Schedule a maternity photography session. Again, just something you might want to do early on so you have it on the books. Not something you absolutely have to do, but it's nice to have. Start moisturizing. So I feel like this is the time, at least for me, where I am starting to get a little itchy for my skin stretching. And a lot of women do this religiously to prevent stretch marks. I'm not quite sure how well that works. I'm pretty sure that stretch marks are hereditary. And I've also had some friends who never had a stretch mark a day in their pregnancy, and then after baby was born, all the stretch marks showed up. So again, it's just a really nice thing to do. Maybe it prevents the stretch marks, maybe it doesn't, but it definitely makes you feel much more comfortable, and it keeps that itchiness down to a minimum. So that's good to do. Decide whether you want to know the sex of your baby. So this could happen, definitely will happen at 20 weeks if you do want to find out. And then there are some places that do the 16-week ultrasound, which is very accurate for finding out the sex of your baby. We are going to do the 16-week ultrasound, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. And there are also fun ways to do gender reveal parties. Those are really big right now, so you can look that up on Pinterest as well. Look into childbirth and newborn classes if you choose to do so. I had some friends who just were not interested in doing the childbirth classes. They just wanted to kind of talk to family members and friends, and that was their childbirth class. Other people like to be armed with every little bit of information that they can. So it just depends on what you want to do. You may need to start shopping for new clothes at this point. Definitely new bras. I'm totally getting to that point. I have to go get fitted for new bras. It's happening. I think that's one of the first items of clothing that most of my friends had to buy early on. And then, maybe starting to look into pregnancy jeans and leggings and things like that. You may be able to get away with just buying loose tops that are non-maternity. Start looking for childcare if you're planning on going back to work. This is something you want to do early on. You really want to be able to do all of your research and take your time. You don't want to rush through this decision, and you also will feel so much better once you find someone and you have them kind of set for when you go back to work, because I really think that it's just a hard enough transition already, and having this, this is one of the most important things I think to get out of the way. Take a tour of your hospital's labor and delivery wing. I guess this is a new thing that they do now. My mom and my mother-in-law were like, we just showed up, like there's no tour. So they do that here, and I think it's like your second or your third trimester. They show you what the room looks like, and you know, they just kind of go through everything, and then they sit you down with one of their nurse practitioners, and you go over your birth plan, and it's like this whole thing. So that's exciting. It's kind of nice. I think it makes some people feel less nervous because they know what they're walking into. So just call your hospital and see if that's an option. We talked about getting our teeth cleaned, so hopefully you made that appointment, and now you have to actually go and get your teeth cleaned. Pretty straightforward. The next one is plan a baby moon. You don't have to do a baby moon. We've been going back and forth. We're doing so much traveling this summer anyways that we don't even know if it's going to end up just being kind of a staycation thing. But it can be a really nice time for you and your partner to go away and relax and just spend time with each other. Another thing is to create your baby registry. So I did this in my first trimester because I've been doing so much research on babies and newborns, and I was so excited to start my registry. And I actually decided to use Babylist. You can find it, it's babylist.com. And it's kind of a hub for all of your registries, so you can register wherever you want to. You can do Bye Bye Baby, you can do Land of Nod, you can do Etsy, and it's kind of all in one baby list. And sometimes they'll even compare prices for you, so that's people who want to buy something for you have the option of buying it from Amazon or Bye Bye Baby. It's just so great because I feel like it really helps you personalize your registry, and you can really get what you want. And it should be fun. You know, it can get a little bit overwhelming. I would recommend with things like strollers and car seats, going into a store and having somebody go through all the different kinds with you and seeing what you're comfortable with. And then scheduling a baby shower. This is kind of the time where you want to talk about scheduling one. If someone has offered to throw it for you, kind of when is a good time for you. Most likely it will happen in your earlier in your third trimester, but again, good time to just plan that and buy thank you cards. I would even buy thank you cards like right at the beginning of your second trimester, because you are going to start getting presents, and it's really nice to have everything kind of sent out before baby comes. I also read somewhere, and I did this for my wedding, that you should kind of have all of your addresses set up on like a Word document, and that way you can just print them out on labels, so that when you do have to write thank you cards after baby is born, it's super easy to find people's addresses, and they're like already printed out, labeled. You don't even have to write them down. So that's a nice little tidbit of information to save time, and just trying to get as many thank you cards out as you can before baby is born. You know, spend time with your partner. This is kind of a weird thing to put on a to-do list, but this is your last time that it's just the two of you, especially if it's your first child. So that can be, you know, a time that you should just go on dates and just kind of try to have one-on-one time with each other. Maybe have some of those discussions about parenting styles, or don't talk about baby, you know, just talk about whatever you want. And lastly, home improvement projects. So if there is something you want to do to change your home that's not going to affect baby, you know, now's the time to do it. You have all of this energy and you're not in your third trimester yet. You know, good time to just kind of nip this in the bud, because you may not have time when baby is born. You probably won't have time when baby's born, let's be honest. And you can always check with your doctor. I remember when we found out we got pregnant, we were actually having hardwood floors put into our house. And we were so nervous about the chemicals, and I had to sleep outside of the house for 3 days, and we were just like, oh my gosh, we had no idea that this was going to happen. So, you know, just ask your doctor. They'll let you know kind of parameters for that kind of stuff. So that's it for second trimester, and I hope you guys are feeling good and liking the videos. And stay tuned for the third trimester checklist coming soon.